So we are live, everyone, and people are coming into the room. This is Mount Vernon City School District Town Hall number 3 with Dr. Hamilton and staff and partners from the Lower Hudson Rec. I'll let you tell what that is, but we have people coming in at this time. And we will give folks a couple of more minutes to log in. They are coming in steadily. So we want to welcome everyone. And Dr. Hamilton, I will turn it over to you so that you can do the official welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Monica George Fields. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our 3rd virtual town hall session. They have been extremely well received by our parents and our staff members. I know we've had a lot of staff jump on here. We are finding that this is one of the best ways to get information out to our community. And although there are a lot of things that COVID has done that has really crippled communities, the one good thing that has come out of it is we have really taken advantage of opportunities like this to maximize reaching our parents through a virtual environment. And that has frankly increased participation for our parents. And it has made it a lot easier to get information out to you as quickly as possible. So hopefully tonight will be no exception. We have asked our families questions and requested feedback in terms of topics you want to hear more information about. And we have heard you loud and clear. There has been a resounding request for more information specifically around the learning platform and what that involves and how parents might be able to partner with us to make sure that students are getting the full benefit of this new virtual environment that has taken over the world of education. So today we have our online platform experts with us from the Mount Vernon City School District and our partners from the Lower Hudson Regional Information Center. And I'm going to turn this over to them momentarily because we do have a very full agenda. But tonight is designed very specifically around helping parents be better partners in the educational process as we maximize learning opportunities for our students in our new learning environment. Dr. George Fields, who you all know by now, Monica George Fields, is one of our district partners, and she has been our facilitator, our liaison, for helping us pull these workshops together through our Office of School Improvement and our Family and Community Engagement Initiative. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Dr. Monica George Fields. And keep in mind, she will go over some ground rules with you and some protocols. I will try to answer as many questions as I can in the chat and on the Q&A. If I don't get to your question, please log on to our website. We have tons of questions and answers that have been provided from previous sessions and from, frankly, emails that I may have received from you offline. So you may find that you have a question that has already been answered on our district website. So without further ado, Dr. Monica George Fields.
Thank you so much. So everyone, I just want to welcome you all to the 3rd Town Hall once again and to tell you that there is a poll that was launched while Dr. Hamilton was greeting all of you. Please respond to the poll. It's a simple question. It just asks what school you're representing. This way, Dr. Hamilton and staff will know who's in the room and what schools you are representing so that we know where the outreach needs to be. Just as a reminder, as Dr. Hamilton said, he has become an expert, everyone. He's just being modest with answering questions in that chat room. We all know the Herculean job he did the last time that we were on last month. So if you have questions, place them in the chat, but ensure that your to box says all panelists and attendees. You just have to make sure that drop down says all panelists and attendees so that we can all see them and so that Dr. Hamilton is able to answer your question. And because tonight is based on virtual learning and remote platforms, we are going to, we know some people will try to go between the computer and laptop and what you see presented. We just want to ensure you that everything that's being presented will be posted on the district's website. So you will be able to go back and refer to this recording, this session, and to see all of the things that you're going to learn today. So without further ado, I want to introduce the first staff member from Mount Vernon City School District. But before I do that, I want to recognize that we do have Dr. Gorman and Dr. Bennett Comroy on the panel with us. They're here, and we want to say hello to them. But the first person from the Mount Vernon City School District who will present now is Joe McGrath, who is the technology guru, as I've labeled him today. Take it away, Joe.
Thank you so much, Monica. So we're thrilled to be here today. Can everybody see the screen, the title screen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we're going to talk tonight about some of the applications. We're going to talk a little bit about basically how to access our tools. So a big welcome to everybody. Thank you guys for coming today. So topics for tonight, we're going to talk about the COVID questionnaire. We're going to start with that. That's a requirement by New York State. And that actually talks to when students come back to school physically. There's a questionnaire that the state has mandated that we ask parents every single day to fill out this form, and we'll go through what that looks like. It's an online form. It takes less than a minute to complete each day. Very straightforward, but we're going to go through that with you today just so everybody understands what that process is. We're going to talk about parent support, how to get access to help desk, how to get access to videos and helpful videos. So even after tonight, even when you're done, you say, wow, we learned a lot, but I still have some questions. There's some resources and videos that we want to be able to point you back to so that you can always go back. So if you missed something or the phone rang or something happened, you can always go back and pick up to get more information. We're going to talk about ClassLink, which is our portal, our MVP, the Mount Vernon portal, and how that is used to really simplify life in the world of many, many apps with a single sign-on protocol. So we'll talk about that tonight. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about Schoology. Schoology is our learning management system. So we're going to really delve into what that is and how to use it and how parents can see all the assignments that their kids have every single night. So it's really going to help you really see how to help your children with their assignments. We'll talk about Seesaw tonight. Seesaw is a pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade initiative. We'll talk about iReady and iReady testing. Some parents are already into it. And Office 365, and we have a gift of software. So if you stick around tonight and you're a parent of a Mount Vernon child, we're going to show you how you can get a free copy of Office 365, the full software package for your house. So there's a little bit of a gimme at the end. And so we have lots of exciting things. So I'm just going to jump right in, and we're going to start talking about this COVID questionnaire. But before we do that, I want to start by introducing some of the panelists who are going to be here today. We have Ms. Mary Lynn Collins, May Isaac, Sean Rowan, Rahila Big, and Dane Unger. And you're going to hear from all of these folks tonight. They're going to talk to some specific software, and everybody has a voice so that you'll be able to hear it from different points of view. Very excited. When your children start going back to school, you're going to be receiving an email. And the email is basically it'll look like this. It's a required daily COVID questionnaire. So it'll say Mount Vernon City School District, and it's really at noreply@edvistas.com. So make sure that that's not in your spam folder. It'll be sent to you, to the parent that we have the email record for. And basically it'll say, click on the name below to answer the questions. So this email comes every morning at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't wait up for it. It'll be there when you get up. And you just click on your child's name. And when you do that, it'll take you to a screen that looks like this. So you can do this from your smartphone. You can do this from your computer. You can do this from wherever you have access to the internet, wherever you have access to your email. And basically what this is a mandate from New York State. So this is going to say, this is your mandated daily screening. And per guidance from the governor's office, you have to answer these questions. And then if you answer yes to any of these questions, you're directed not to enter the building. So let's go through what those questions are so everybody understands them. Again, this whole process between clicking on the email and answering the questions should take about 30 seconds. First question is, have you traveled to any of the following states? And you notice the list of states keeps growing and shrinking depending on what's going on. There's actually a link there. You can actually click on and get the full CDC website. And if you've gone to any of those states within the 14 days, you click yes. Next question, have you knowingly been in close proximity contact to anybody who has tested positive for COVID-19? And again, you're going to answer yes or no. Have you been tested positive for COVID in the last 14 days, excuse me? You're going to answer yes or no. And you're going to take your temperature or check your temperature. And if you think it's above 100 degrees or more, you're going to answer yes, and then you hit submit. And that's the whole process. It's pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. Again, you get that email. It's important that we have the right email for you on record, but we get that email every day and you answer it, and the whole process takes about 30 seconds. And this is just part of what New York State has mandated for all schools. Okay, I see we have a poll up. Just make sure everybody sees that. Do you have a thermometer at home? And do you check your email regularly? So that's great that people are answering. Again, this process this is a normal part of what school has become. And the process does take a little getting used to, but then, like I said, about 30 seconds per day. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about parental support. Okay. And just kind of how this works. And it looks like we had an issue with that video, so we're just going to move right on. But basically, it's fine because we have another slide that talks to it. Here's where it is. We knew this was going to happen, so we actually prepared a contingency. In order to get support for what you need, it's as simple as going to the district's website, www.mountvernoncsd.org, and under the Students tab, there's two things that I want to point out. One is the Students Instructional Technology links, and we're going to talk about that in great detail tonight. The second one is it says students should report technology issues here. So anybody that has any issues with any of the laptops or iPads that we've given out to them, and there's any reason why you say, this isn't working or I've got a question, this is the form you use. You click it, it takes, again, it's a couple of questions. Really important that we have good contact information. But once we have that, the technicians are going to come back and they're going to support you. They're going to call you. They're going to try and solve your problem remotely and remote into the machine. And if they can't do that, then we arrange for a physical meeting and to diagnose the problem. So again, this is how you get support for any of those technical issues that you might have through that. The other thing that we're going to spend a lot of time talking tonight about is this instructional technology links and all the links you can get to it. So a big program, we spent a lot of time talking about Schoology, and the link for Schoology is right here. The link for Office 365, which we're going to spend a lot of time talking about tonight, is right here. All of the other links are found here under instructional technology. And when you go under instructional technology, you're going to see a couple of different things, the MVP and Schoology. And again, we talked about the Schoology link before. It's the exact same link, takes you to the exact same place, and students get to it the exact same way. Really a big groundbreaking thing that we do in Mount Vernon is something called the single sign-on, or SSO for short. So what is SSO? Imagine all of the software programs and having a different username and a different password for every single one. Well, that would just be a lot to keep track of. Instead, we've actually made this whole piece as seamless as possible where students have one logon and one password. So every access for every single thing that they need is under one username and one password. That's it. It's as simple as we could make it. So when the students have their username and password, and it's that email address, so it's the student ID at mountvernoncsd.org, and then their password, and if they click on Schoology, they get right in. If they click on the MVP, again, the same thing, they're prompted for that, and once they get to that, they're into the MVP. From Schoology, you can actually jump into the MVP. There's another, we try and make as many links as possible to make it as easy as possible to get from one place to the next. So from Schoology, you can actually click on the waffle and come all the way down and click on the MVP right there. So again, there's multiple ways to get there, all with that single sign-on, one username, one password. All right. So we have a lot of different apps in the MVP, and it's the ClassLink MVP. And I should stress this because if you decide to download the app and you're like, I want to be able to get to all of these programs, or if you have the app or you have a district iPad, the app that you're going to go to first is that ClassLink app. It's called the Mount Vernon portal because it's programmed with our stuff. And there's a lot of programs here, and it's individualized for each student. So different grades are going to have access to different software packages. Depending on what you need, that's what you're going to get. So it's very individualized for every single student. And again, we've taken away that burden of having to have a different username and a different password for every single application. It's one username, one password. You go through the MVP, and that's for all your programs. Right? Again, this is called the Launchpad, and it's going to be different for every single grade, depending on what they have. If you decide to download the Launchpad app on your phone, you're going to download ClassLink. You're going to then search for the Mount Vernon City School District. Make sure you get the district login, and then put in that student username, which is the full email address at mountvernoncsc.org, and the password. All right. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Mary Lynn Collins, who's going to talk about some of these different programs that we have in the elementary. Ms. Collins?
All right. Thanks, Joe, and good evening, everyone in Mount Vernon. Before I begin, I just want to explain a little bit about my role and my work in Mount Vernon. I'm blessed to be working closely with the Instructional Technology Department and your district and building school administrators here in Mount Vernon. The team of educators that you're going to meet very shortly all work closely with your child's teacher. I also have an additional role where I work with many districts in the Westchester community. And I'm very proud to share with you that Mount Vernon continues to be a leader in our region in their systemic use of technology, spanning grades pre-K to 12. As you review this list of software that's on your screen, you'll notice that there are, this is referencing elementary software. It may not be all of the software that your students have, but it's some of the primary components that we have instituted in your district. You'll notice there are digital reading programs, digital science programs, Pearson Envision Math, which is a digital textbook for your students. And you'll see items highlighted in blue: Seesaw, Schoology, Office 365, and iReady, that we're going to spend a lot more time tonight sharing with you how those work with your students. As we look at the next screen, you're going to notice some middle school programs and high school programs. You're going to see obviously some more sophisticated and content delivery instructional programs. You'll see programs like Rosetta Stone, which is very helpful and useful when learning languages, Castle Learning. You're going to see document-based questions, again, very specific to your child's learning as they progress through the grades. And you'll also notice both elementary and high school have a program called Overdrive, and that allows your child to be able to take books digitally out of the library so that we continue that reading and learning and their interest and their love of reading. And finally, one other application that some of our high school parents might be interested in is, of course, that Naviance program. And that is being run out of your guidance department. And that, of course, some of you may be familiar with, maybe learning about it very shortly for those of us that are new to high school. But it's that program that helps to guide them with their courses and helps them look where they'll grow or go after they leave Mount Vernon. So there is a poll up here. Which programs do you notice your child using the most? And as we suspected, Schoology is a #1 hit. And so what I'd like to do now is turn it over to one of our professional developers, Dana Unger, who will share with you how your children are using Schoology. Dana.
For having me. I'm Dana Unger. This is my 4th year working in Mount Vernon as a professional developer. So I'm really love it here, and I'm really happy to be with you tonight and tell you more about Schoology. Joe, can you click on the next slide?
Dana, if you could just speak a little louder, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Sure. Is that better?
Nope.
Really? Can you hear me, Joe?
A little soft, yeah.
Okay. I'll try to talk. I'll try to talk a lot louder.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So what is Schoology and how does your child use it? It is for grades 2 through 12 in our district. It is a learning management system that has all the tools that your child needs to participate in their courses. And they will be able, or they can now access their calendar for all of their courses, as well as any groups that they're part of. They can view all types of materials in folders that their teachers are posting. And they can submit work to the teachers through discussions and assignments. And I'll be going over that today. They can also use the messaging tool to private message with teachers only. It's not for student-to-student communication. And I want to also talk about notifications. Make sure that I'm going to show you where you can make sure they're turned on for your child so that they get notified when a teacher is posting an important update or assignment. So we have a video, and I want to give you a quick walkthrough before we go live.
First, let's get to class. To find your course, click on the Courses menu and click on the tile for your course. Take a look around. Be sure to explore each area in the left navigation bar at some point. At any time, click on the logo in the upper left to start over. Each time you log in, you'll see news and updates from your courses, groups, and school in your recent activity feed. Now look over here to the right. Here you'll find two convenient lists that can help keep you up to date with your school and class activities. First, an overdue items list from your course, and second, below that, a list of any upcoming events, assignments, or activities. Consider these helpful reminder lists of important things to pay attention to. In the upcoming list, the calendar link is a shortcut to your full calendar viewing everything coming up in your school, courses, and groups. From here, you can even click in through to go to assignments or activities. Notice, however, you can also click on the calendar icon in the top nav bar to take you to your full calendar at any time. Keep an eye on your calendar. It's a quick and easy way to stay on track and not miss any deadlines or events. Now, during your busy day-to-day activities, you can rely on Schoology to keep you informed. You'll receive a notification when actions occur that you should know about, like when someone replies to your discussion post, your teacher posts a course update, grades your work, or provides feedback on a recent submission. Click through any notification to be taken to that assignment or activity. If you use Schoology's mobile app, you can even choose to receive your notifications on your phone. It's your choice, though. You can always just keep an eye on the bell icon in the top menu. You may also be a member of various clubs, departments, groups, or teams at your school, and you can find these in the Groups menu. Now, staying in touch and communicating with your instructor and classmates is critically important to your success. The envelope icon is your shortcut to your message center. Here you can read, reply to, and send messages to others. Resources in Schoology is built-in storage space for files, documents, or other materials. If you use Google Apps or Microsoft Office 365, you can even connect these accounts as apps in your Schoology account. Oh, and lastly, there's a lot more to discover, and if you ever need help or have a question about anything in Schoology, look for the support link at the bottom of the page. Schoology's Help Center and community and latest news areas provide a wealth of information.
Okay, thank you. Go to the next slide. Back one? Oh, okay, I guess it's not there, but that's okay, because I want to go live now. So I had one more slide, but that's fine, because now I'm going to log in as a student for you and take out the mystery of exactly what's going on in Schoology. And I'll be able to answer questions as well. So I'm actually going to start at the district website. I want to make sure everyone can see my screen. Everyone see the district website right here? Okay, so this is the first place of action. Great, thank you. So we have this Schoology logo in the top right. So looking at Schoology on a computer, we always recommend that you use Google Chrome. That's the best browser to access Schoology in. And when your child clicks on the link here, they may be asked to sign in with their email address and password. Usually when they sign in, it will always hold that sign in, and so they'll just be able to click right in like I did here. So this is our sample student, Anne, and this is what a student account looks like. So anytime you want to get back to this main screen here, you can click on the logo on the top left. So for your child, the first thing they see is this course dashboard. Now, there's only about 6 or 7 courses here. So if they have more courses that they need to see, they can click on courses at the top, and then they can click on my courses over on the right. If they think that anything's missing, it's usually on this list. One thing that I tell people right away is to reorder the courses in the way that you want them to appear. So you can help your child, and I'll do it again. You click on courses, my courses, reorder, to put them in the order that you and your child would like to see them. Okay, and there's no save button, it's just Xing out. Next time you go to courses, they'll be in the order that you want them to appear. So this main bar up here, sometimes people get overwhelmed by this home screen. You can always go right to courses and right into the course to see what's going on. So I'm going to come back to courses in a minute, and that'll be what I spend most of my time on. But I want to show you a couple other things. Like we said in the video, if your child's in a group, a lot of counselors are using groups. Clubs and programs use groups. They can always click on groups to see if there are any on the dashboard. This student is not in a group. Now, this is really interesting. Over here, these 4 squares. I don't know if you've seen these before, but if you click on that, there's a few different options here, and one of them is the MVP portal that Mr. McGrath was talking about. So if you click on that, if your child needs to use another program and they're already in Schoology, this is like a shortcut for them to get to all these other programs, some of which you'll hear us talk about today. So if a teacher says, you know, please go out to Seesaw or please go out to Pearson to do something specific, they can get to it by clicking on these 4 squares without ever logging out of Schoology. This little envelope is where they can always message their teacher. They can only message teachers, and teachers can message students, but they can't be messaging each other as students. Those are permissions that we have turned on. So let's go into a course, because I think that'll be the most interesting thing to talk about today. So I'm going to click on my sample class here. And there's 2 main areas of a Schoology course. There are materials and updates. I'm going to talk about updates first. I'm going to click on updates and show you that when a teacher posts messages, kind of like if they were in school, they'd be writing on the board and erasing at the end of the day and starting a new day. These are reminders, notifications, different types of things that they want the students to see. This is not necessarily where assignments would be posted. They're not really they're not really with a date, but they would pop up, and then your students should get notifications. So if your student clicks on their name and the settings button, you want to make sure that they go to notifications and that we leave notifications on. Just in case they might have turned it off, it should be on, but it's a good idea to double check this. So that way you know that they'll be getting either an email or if they've installed the mobile app, they might even get a pop-up on their phone when work is due. So it's always good to have that reminder. So updates are there and a lot of teachers are using them. The second area is materials, and that's where all the work happens. You've probably noticed that teachers have been creating weekly folders. I'll show you an example of that. All right, so sometimes there are weekly folders with exactly what to do in the folder. And sometimes there are daily folders inside of that. Sometimes it just depends on how a teacher works. But inside the folders are different types of activities. So that's what I want to talk about now. Like, what are these type of activities and what are the children supposed to be doing? And everybody gets better at it the more they use it, including the teachers. So I'm going to go back to my sample class. And I've made a folder here. And notice also, this is another good tip. I'm not going to click on the folder. I'm actually going to click on this little arrow next to it. And that actually shows me everything that I need to do inside the folder. So I can click on it if I want to, and it will open everything up. Or I can just click on that little arrow next to it to see what's inside. So one of the main things that people ask about is, how can my child submit work back to the teacher? And that's done through two different tools. One is an assignment that looks like this, and one is a discussion that looks like these little speech bubbles. Assignments are always between the teacher and the student. No other student can see your child's work. It's only between the teacher or co-teacher or teaching assistant and the student. When an assignment is given to a student, when the student clicks on it, they're going to see all of the details. And this is an example for a quick write. They want them to look at this photograph and do a quick write of a 6-word story. And then what the student has to do is just click on submit assignment, even though that doesn't sound right because there's nothing to submit. If you know one thing tonight, it's going to be this button. Submit assignment will give the student 3 choices to give something back to the teacher. The first choice is upload. If they have a file on their computer, they can click it, they can upload it, they can even click on this microphone tool and record something for the teacher. The second option, which deals with this assignment, is create. This is where the student can type, okay, if they weren't using the microphone, and they can write the answer that the teacher wants, and they can click save draft if they're not finished, or they can click submit when they're ready to submit. The last option is resources. Some of the older students are using this particularly. If the student clicks on apps, they can authorize their OneDrive, which is Office 365. I haven't done it for the sample student, but that means their folders full of, Word documents, PowerPoints, etc., would be living here, and that they can turn that into their teacher. So there's always these 3 options, and I have really good slides on this that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so if they were submitting something in this space, they can always type their answer here and click submit. It will tell them that the assignment was submitted, and it will say on time or late. And then if they need to submit another version, they can click on this button and do it again. The second thing I want to show you before we go into questions and some other things is a discussion. A discussion really gives them amazing experience that they're going to get with higher education. It is a way that a teacher can pose a question or embed a video or an article, and then the students can answer in this comment space below. A lot of teachers have their students use this microphone tool to give audio or video answers too, which is really fun. There's even a feature that the student has to type their answer or record their answer before they can read other students' responses. So that's all happening on the back end, and that's what I'm teaching the teachers. But discussions are great, and they're used in a lot of different ways. This is an example of a discussion for a middle and high school student. There's an article to read, questions to answer, criteria for participating, and then the student writes the comment. You'll also see in your child's classes that teachers are using other types of integrations that we have with other products. For example, we have Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle asks the student to watch a video, and a lot of times they'll answer questions along the way. And then the teacher will be able to see how much time the student spent on the video, and they will get that feedback right away of the questions that the students answered. We have a brand new tool called Nearpod, which you'll be seeing soon, which is super cool. It lets the teacher basically give a link to their slideshow for the students, and then the students can participate in these amazing activities along the way, and the teacher can collect that feedback. So we're starting to roll that out now. And then of course we have tons of discovery education resources that the teachers are also incorporating for our students. So our goal is that this can be viewed on any device. And that's where, you know, we'll troubleshoot along the way if there's issues, but we try to make sure that it's done properly so that there aren't a lot of issues with the different types of activities that you can put inside. I'm just checking the time here because I don't want to take up on other people's time. Let's see, I think I've gone through pretty much everything. I don't know if you want to do questions now or later on Schoology, but
let's see, I don't see any questions on specifically to Schoology.
okay.
So if someone has a question about Schoology, you can tap it in, you can type it into the chat box and we will get it to Dana.
Absolutely.
In the meanwhile, we can move forward and then have that time at the end so that we can swing back if that's what the chat requires.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Dana, I'm wondering if you can't just talk a little bit about how to submit an assignment in Schoology. It's such an important topic, and I know you went over it, but we do have a couple slides here, and I'm wondering if you could just as a review, because there's so much to this. Yeah.
Yeah, these are my favorite new slides, and we'll make sure we get you guys a copy of these. So the number one question a lot of times is, how can my child submit work back to the teacher? So if the teacher posts an assignment and is expecting something in return, the child clicks on Submit Assignment. We'll pretend they did that, and you can go to the next screen. And then again, there's 3 options. They can upload something already saved on their computer. And this actually works when you're on a phone as well. So let's say you had written work and you took a picture of it. You can actually use an assignment to actually upload that photo of the work to the teacher. So students sometimes are submitting assignments in all different ways. And they can also record video and audio there. I do see a question coming in about parent accounts, so we'll briefly talk about that. The next option is Create. That always gives your child a space to type. So even if they're unable to use, let's say, Microsoft Word at that moment or another type of word processing tool, if there's an assignment, they can always click on Create and they can type into this space, or they can copy paste what they might have in another program into this space. And last but not least, resources. We're asking most of the students, the teachers know this, to have the students connect up their OneDrive, which allows them to take items that they have in their Office 365, which May is going to talk more about, and submit that to the teacher as well. So we'll make sure you have a copy of that. And this is what it looks like on the mobile app. So it's a little bit upside down. So you just have to know where to go when there's an assignment and the students click on Create Submission. That gives them that area to type. And then if they are on their phone, where it says submit photo video would be if they took a picture of their work or they had something on their phone and they wanted to turn that in. They can also record audio. And these are just additional sides on posting to a discussion. They just type in that comment box. They can use the audio video recorder as well. That's another slide where it looks like on an iPhone or iPad. So some of you asked in the chat about parent accounts. We, some parents might have signed up for parent accounts, but we're gonna be rolling it out on a bigger scale, like in the coming weeks. So we just wanted to make sure that it was done efficiently and correctly. So that is a little bit different, where parents can oversee what their child's doing, but they can't really participate as their student. It's more about the general oversight. So for now, we're asking that, you know that your child can log in with their account and that you know that they can actually do the work, but then the parent accounts will be coming soon. We have a lot of helpful videos, and that, by the way, Joe, I put in the chat the video that wasn't working before. I don't know why, but it works now. If you want to show it.
No, it's okay.
Okay, it's just about how to get to that parent support page. So all these videos are on that parent support page. So please visit that at any time. And all of these videos that are here plus more are there for you and your students.
That's great. Thanks, Dana.
You're welcome.
Sean, you have a lot of people for Seesaw.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Sean Rowan and I work with the Lyric, and I've been in Mount Vernon for 5 years supporting them with their technology implementations across the district. Mostly primarily been working with the lower early childhood teachers and students. So today we're going to be talking about Seesaw, which is primarily for pre-K through 1. And we're going to look at that, and I'll show you how to get in and out of that. Joe, can you? Yeah, there we go. So why are we using Seesaw with our younger students? Seesaw is much more user-friendly for our younger students. It allows them to access their work more independently as they're going forward and working on activities that teachers have assigned. And teachers can use it also to demonstrate how to do things when they're in their Zoom sessions with them as well. So we're using it with them for that. If we can, thanks. I'm going to show you, or I'd like to show you how to log into Seesaw, review an assignment, and access the Seesaw Family app and communicate through Seesaw. The Seesaw, I just want to mention here, and the Seesaw Family app and the Seesaw Class app are 2 separate apps, and we'll discuss that a little bit further. Can I have the next slide? So when we're looking at the Seesaw app for your child, it provides a daily look at their work, interacting with the lessons that your child can respond to independently, and the parent app is separate, as I said earlier, from the child app. So I think this is where I want to jump in live. Oh, nope, sorry. We have the Class Link app, or the MD Portal app. That's where we have the student's going to log in from there to get into all the apps. As Joe showed us earlier, or Mr. McGrath showed us earlier, the way to get into there is through the Class Link app. I'm going to show a video when we go live on how to access that and what that looks like. The next video. I'm going to show you how to use some of the assignment tools that are in here as well, and how to use the drawing tools. The students can also record themselves and respond to questions that the teacher has put forward and show their learning and thinking, and it gives a better insight to what the student understands when in the assignment and their knowledge and development. And again, I'm going to just keep, I guess, emphasizing the Family app is a separate way for you to communicate with the parent and with the teacher. And it's a one-way communication. When we're using the Family app, we have the ability to communicate with the teacher and respond to them. If they send an announcement out, it's one way though. I respond back to the teacher, and nobody else needs to see my responses or my messages to the teacher. It's just one way. Okay, I'm going to go live now. So when we're here, this is where you can access the videos Dana was referring to. It's the parent support remote learning. And I'm just going to bring up how to access Seesaw on the app. The iPad. Hi, I want to show you how you can access the apps from the Mount Vernon provided iPad. You're going to sign into ClassLink. ClassLink is a single sign-on. You're putting in your credentials, your password, and your email address just once, and you'll be able to access things like Seesaw and Waterford through the ClassLink app. So I'm going to tap on ClassLink. I'm going to put in my student credentials, swiping down to get the numbers. And I'm going to type in the rest of the email address. And I'm going to put in my password. And then it's going to launch me into the ClassLink. And I'll have access to all of the apps that are provided to me as a student. I can click on any one of these now. And it will take me in to my student account. And if I have more than one account, I'll just come up to the top, pick my class, and there I am into my work, and I can see the activities that have been assigned to me. And that's how you're going to access Seesaw and Waterford through the ClassLink app. So that's how you'll go into that and be able to access that through there. I hope that that was clear and helpful, but the other videos are here as well, and that was under parent and community and the parent supported remote learning as we go through this. I'm going to click on the demo of what a student, once they log in, what the student page looks like or the app looks like from their area. As I mentioned earlier, if a student has more than one class, they can click on that and they can pick another class and put in the information or work on the activities for that class. This journal here will show us the work that I'm working on or the work that has already been approved and submitted to the student, to the teacher for approval back. We have the activities here, and this is what I need to be working on a regular basis. We have a new feature that's been added, and that is called pinned. And why am I mentioning that? Because there's something, or if you see that this is here pinned, this is an activity that the teacher would like the student to respond to probably immediately or most pertinent. So it's here that they can do that, and it's pinned. They can see their other activities here, and you can see I need to finish a response as a student, or these are waiting for my response. I can also tell from over here is the to-do, in progress, this will show the activities I'm working on, the done, and the ones I've already sent to the teacher for approval. And I can get a calendar view as well to see what activities I've done. And this is also helpful for you as a parent to see what work their student has done and when they needed to do that. So today I just want to also show you how to respond to an activity. You're going to click this little add response. And then there's different interactive tools that are working along here that the student can use. I'm going to just do some dragging and dropping. I'm going to click on my the little icon down here, and I can drag over and make different faces. And you can see once the student has done that and created their own, there's a second page of work for them. And if I didn't know what I was, didn't remember instructions, I can click here and the instructions would be visible for me again. And oftentimes the teachers will record their instructions, especially since we're dealing with little ones, they can get these instructions read to them. When I'm done, I'm just going to click this green arrow and it will send it back to the teacher and they'll get that information back. So that's how the students can work independently on their own and respond to activities. Okay, any questions on that? I don't see any in the chat. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it looks like from the parent perspective. We have the parent app, and the parent app or the parent communication through Seesaw is what we're rolling out first. Once we get this underway and under our belts, we'll start rolling out Schoology to the parents as well, and they'll have access to Schoology once we get that set. So right now, you should have received, those of you working with your Seesaw families, you should have received or start to receive notifications from your teachers to accept an invite to Seesaw. And when you accept that invite to Seesaw, it will take you to the invitation, will take you to the website and you can link in and then you access it to your students' journals and information with the teachers. I would suggest, if you haven't already done so, that you find a way to, if you have a device, to download it, because it's on the Android and the App Store, to download the app, the Seesaw Family app, not the Seesaw Class app, but the Seesaw Parent and Family app, and download it so that you're ready to go when you get that invitation from your child's teacher. Here, once you're in there, you can see that this is what the home page looks like. And the home page will show you some of the activities your student has submitted to their teacher. You have the journal, and the journal here can show you if you have more than one student, you can have them in one app, in the one single app, and you can access their work. And we can make comments to our students. So here, if I wanted to say, oh, Anne, what a great pumpkin that is, I can make a little comment and write that to my child. But again, since we're working with our younger students, we can even record that and give them a little recording of how much you like their work. And when they log in and in their journal, they'll get that message from you. Isn't that a nice little feature so that you can check in with their work and then you can send them back some messages. And in the inbox, this is where you can start getting information and announcements from the teacher. They can send an announcement to the school, to the class, excuse me, and then you can message the teacher back from the announcement, or you can notifications where you can just send your work information back. Notifications, excuse me, is where I can see what my child has submitted and respond to it. And here we go. I can, down here in the lower corner, type a message back to the teacher and send it to the teacher. So that's how Seesaw works in a nutshell. Your students are using it on a daily basis. And I think they're really enjoying being able to communicate and share their work with their teachers. I'm going to stop sharing my thing and go back to our PowerPoint.
Thank you, Sean. That was really, really comprehensive. We have up next Rahila Big, who's going to walk us through iReady and all that it offers. iReady is an amazing program. Go ahead, Rahila.
Good evening, families. My name is Rahila Beg, and I'm also from Lower Hudson Regional Information Center, and I'll be presenting iReady today to you. I'm just going to turn off my video only because I'm having little issue with my Wi-Fi at home, so I hope that's okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So iReady is actually K-12 product, but the district this year is assessing grades K-10, and some of the students in some students in K and 1 will be tested, not all. So I just wanted to share that out. And I'm going to, as I said earlier, I'm going to give you an overview of iReady. And iReady has been in Mount Vernon for almost, I want to say, but maybe 7 years or something now. And actually, I've been supporting Mount Vernon for almost 11 years. I've been working with them on various different educational software. So I'm going to explain how the diagnostic work and how it can be delivered at home if needed under special circumstances. So you might be wondering, what is iReady? iReady is an online program for reading and for mathematics, and that will help your child's teacher determine your child's need, personalize their learning, and monitor progress throughout the school year. So let's take a minute to learn a little bit more about iReady. iReady was built from a previous screen, sorry, please. Okay. So iReady was built from college and career readiness standards in reading and mathematics. It is a program designed to meet many educators and child's need. iReady connects rich assessment data to personalized digital learning and teacher-led instruction. So iReady has actually 3 components, as you can see it on the slide here. So iReady has a diagnostic. That's one of the primary component of the iReady. So diagnostic is an adaptive assessment that adjusts its question to suit your child's needs. Each item a child sees is individualized based on their answer to previous questions. All right, so for example, a series of correct answer will result in slightly harder questions, while the series of incorrect answers will yield slightly to the easier questions. And this second component for iReady is online instruction. All right, so online instruction will engage your child through motivating, personalizing reading and mathematics instruction based on their individual diagnostic skills. And the third component is iReady teacher-led instruction. So iReady also provides your child teacher with the data to understand child performance and needs. iReady also provides the child's teacher with the resources for whole class and small group instruction to accelerate child's growth and grade learning. All right, next slide, please. So, so now you might be wondering, you know, why take the test? Why the students are taking the test? So remember, the diagnostic helps us find out what your child know, what the child needs to learn, and we want to make the best of the use of the learning time at the school. Right. Next, please. And how does the diagnostic work? As I mentioned earlier, that as your child is taking the diagnostic, there will be some question will be hard and some might be easy, but we're just trying to find the right place for the student where they need to be at. And few things I really want to emphasize is the helpful tips for you if your child is going to take the diagnostic at home. As of now, the schools has actually, I mean, many of the schools been already been assessing. There's students in the school. So right now we have about 58% of the students who has completed the diagnostic in their buildings, but there are about 14% who are still working on it, and about 28% has not started. So I just wanted to share other little data, but I didn't want to put a screenshot there. But just so in case the student have to take the diagnostic at home. So as a parents, you know, we just want to inform you and want to make sure the student take the test or the diagnostic at home with fidelity. All right, so if your child is taking the diagnostic at home, please inform your child that they should not rush and they should read each question and the choices carefully. If there's a question that they have not learned, they should just try their best. And then for math, they can show their work on paper and they can use paper and pencil. For reading, your child needs to read the passage carefully and reread the passage if necessary. And they should always check before going to the next question. So after this student has completed the diagnostic, then iReady personalized instruction piece is actually automatically designed for your child at home. And so as I have a little video, but we can hold on to the videos afterwards. So as I was saying, iReady will personalize instruction that provides the child with lesson based on their skills level and needs, so they can learn at the pace that is just right for them. These lessons are fun and interactive, and so it keeps your child engaged while they are learning in reading or math. Okay, next. So this is the screenshot. If your child is using it, actually, if your child is logging into iReady from home using the Mount Vernon portal or Schoology, then this is the screenshot is going to look like. As you can see it here, actually, there are two different options that's available. There's My Path. This My Path was designed and created based on how your child performed on the diagnostic. And then the teacher-led, which is extra resources that's available in iReady. These lessons are designed and assigned by a teacher to your child to provide them with extra practice or intervention, or could be a part of homework. Next, please. So I'm just looking at the poll actually. Oh, good. So, okay. So about 59% of the folks, 60% have said this, their child has taken the benchmark. That's great. And only 27% said they're not sure. Okay. All right. So few takeaway from this, that the iReady Diagnostic provides information to your child's teachers so they can best meet their needs. And iReady also will help your child by creating a great testing environment, but do not help on the assessment. All right. Use the support resources available on support site for the families, and all these, the family portal actually should be on at the MVP side. If not, we'll make sure that the family resources are available to the families for iReady. All right. So I'm just going to finish this and just 1 second before May starts actually. So I know I still have a few minutes. So just please keep in mind that iReady is designed to complement what is being taught in the classroom. Your child teacher will have the information from the diagnostic that shows where some extra review or help is needed. All right. As of now, I just want to mention that you might be wondering, as of now, we do not have a parent portal for iReady. Okay. However, if your child is using iReady from home, you can see their progress. All right, because the student has the progress at the bottom of their screen when they're working on iReady. So as a parent and as a child, you can see their progress, where they are, how many lessons they have passed, and what are the tasks they're working on. So that's all available on the student login screen. Okay. Any questions? All right, I don't see any question coming in, so I'm gonna try to play. I do have a 2 minutes.
Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to shift over to May right here. And I know that you'll post that video online for parents to be able to see. And any questions that parents have, please put them in the chat, because we do want to reserve time for Dr. Hamilton to be able to have a Q&A this time. We want him to be able to answer questions.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to put that in the chat, the link to the video. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to take over then for Rahila and introduce myself. Thanks for joining us this evening. My name is May Isaac, and I am a technology support specialist with the Lower Hudson Regional Information Center. I just joined the Mount Vernon technology team this past spring, but I bring the background of being a classroom teacher and also a parent of school-age children to my role. So tonight I want to explain Office 365 to give you a little bit more information about that. And I'm also going to introduce a little hidden gem in the Office suite called Immersive Reader. Office 365 is like an educational bonus. I refer to it as. Students and their teachers are entitled to install Office 365 applications on up to 5 devices, school-owned or personal. So what that means is that your child can use the Office applications on their school-issued device if they have that, or they can use it on a cell phone, a tablet, a laptop, a desktop at home. It doesn't matter, up to 5 different devices. So there's a really easy way to get that copy of Office for your students. Once you know where it is, it's really easy to see. So your student is going to go to the Mount Vernon homepage, as we showed before, and they're going to log in through the Office 365 cloud at the top. Once they log into Office 365, we have this little screenshot down in the bottom right-hand corner. They're going to see a button, a blue button up at the top that says Install Office. So when you click that drop down, you've got 2 options there. If you click on the Office 365 apps like I have in this screenshot, it's going to start an automatic download of a package that includes Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, Excel, that sort of thing. But if you want to go in and maybe take a look around and decide to install a few apps, maybe some extra apps that aren't part of the original package, choose Install Other Options, and you'll be able to go in and explore a little bit more. So it says on the bottom too, select different language or install other apps, which brings us to our next slide. And I'm going to show you, these are some of the applications that come with your Office 365 account. You may recognize some of the big ones there. We've got Outlook, Word, Excel, but there's also some you maybe haven't seen, like OneNote, Forms, and the Planner app, which is down in the lower right-hand corner. That's really interesting. Your child is going to have access to these applications with their account, and they have access to that account until they graduate or until if they leave the district. So they have access through that Mount Vernon Office 365. Okay. Thanks for letting me share that. And I'm going to move on to our next part, which is Microsoft Immersive Reader. And we have 2 videos here. So if we want to play the first one. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that the sound comes across. I was just.
Yeah, now I hear the sound.
Okay, we're going to start here?
Yes, that's the first one. And this is going to give you a little look at what it's like. So we're here in Word, and this is how you find the Immersive Reader. That's that hidden gem.
Hello. Hola. Hello, Mount Vernon families. This is an example of using the Immersive Reader learning tools with Office 365. You can find Immersive Reader in Word Online, OneNote Online, and even Outlook email. Immersive Reader lets a user change the look, sound, and even the language of the text they need to read. It's built right into these products under the View tab on the menu. Please note that Immersive Reader does not import images. If you want to learn more about Immersive Reader and try using it with text of your choice, please visit aka.ms/allaboutimmersivereader.
Okay. And our next video is going to show you Immersive Reader from a student's perspective.
The true purpose of education is to create possibility.
It was a little hard for me. People laugh whenever I read sometimes. Well, they knew how to read, and I didn't. I will never be good at reading. I will probably be held back again. It highlights wants the words to know where I am. When it's reading, I see spaces between the words. And it's easy to focus on. The first time I actually could read that book, I was proud of myself. I was very proud of myself. Good job, Joey.
When technology and education come together, possibility becomes reality.
I want to read every book in here.
Thanks. As a parent, that gets me every time. I'm really just amazed at the power of immersive reader, this little hidden gem that's tucked right into so many programs. This is just giving you an example of what it looks like. We know we played that video and you saw the message being read. This is another example of how you can use immersive reader. There's different types of contrast. So for students maybe that have low vision, or even some of us who are just tired of looking at a bright screen all day, you can use this dark mode. You'll also see some words are different colors, and that helps break out with the parts of speech. So it's teaching grammar along with helping them read. You have things broken apart into syllables. So you see the words like physical, geography. That's all different things that you can adjust within the immersive reader. On the bottom, we've got that little play button down there. And as you heard, it is audio support. It highlights the words as it reads. And students can play single words, or they can play the whole document. And what we really didn't get to show you is that you can also translate a document, which I think is just phenomenal. There's so many different applications to it. I happen to be a person who loves languages, so I'm always curious as to how I say something in a different language. That's embedded right here into immersive reader. So if a child is a English language learner, they can have the document instantly converted to the language that they're familiar with. If they're younger and they're not reading even in their first language, it can be played back to them. So students can gradually transition. If they're learning English, they can look at the word, they can see the English version, and they can also click on it to see the version in their first language. So there's just so much in this immersive reader. The next slide. There. Okay, so this is just a quick overview of the applications that you can find the immersive reader in. So it's in Outlook, it's in Word, as you saw from my example. So the student, if they see some text and they need help reading it, you can cut and paste and put it in Word. And that way you'll be able to hear it, see it translated, see the text change to the font sizes that you need. Right in the middle there, I know Dana mentioned before Nearpod. That's also one of the applications that it's not a Microsoft product, but they work very closely. So Immersive Reader is just starting to take the world by storm, I feel. And those two right there on the bottom, OneDrive and PowerPoint coming soon. Those were just announced recently, and Microsoft is supporting those applications as well. It's been a real amazing time to be working with this. So yes, coming soon.
Thank you, May.
You're welcome.
And I see that we have all the tools that Immersive Reader and all the tools that Microsoft 365 offers. And we want to encourage parents to take advantage of that, because that's a couple of $100 I know when I go into Best Buy to have to buy that program. So it's wonderful for parents and families to be able to have those tools. We want to get to Dr. Hamilton, and we want to remind folks that here on this slide, you can see where you can find all of the remote learning videos and all of the tools and help that the district is offering you. And so without further ado, Dr. Hamilton, you actually have a Q&A time. And May, thank you for that video. It takes you to leave us all choked up. Dr. Hamilton, it's all on you. Thank you, May, for that.
Thank you, and a special thank you to all of our presenters tonight. We appreciate you giving us time on your Thursday evening. We know that family time is important, and for you to give us this time is just very, very much appreciated. So again, I just want to reiterate to our parents, we put this together based on feedback that we got, that parents really wanted some simple how-tos, you know, walk me through, how do I access the tools on Schoology? How do I get information related to how my students may be able to submit assignments to my teacher? How can I follow up to make sure they're getting those assignments done? So that's what tonight was designed specifically to do. And I hope you have found it to be a useful way to spend your evening. If there is more information that you need that you did not get out of this session, we want to try to customize future sessions for you so that we are maximizing all of our tools and resources and getting all these experts that we have at our disposal to come in and help us. So with that being said, if you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat and I'll be glad to answer them in the time that we have remaining tonight. Again, please go on to our district website. There's tons of information there, so much so that we've actually started trying to clear out some of that information because it was just getting bombarded with so many links and tools and documents and presentations that it was getting a little difficult to navigate. So we have cleaned that up a little bit for you to make it a little easier to find your way through. But again, if you have any questions, I'm here this evening. I'll be glad to answer them for you. And
so Dr. Hamilton, as we wait for people to type questions in the chat, there was a question earlier. I was trying to find it, but it's somewhere buried in the chat or in the Q&A, where someone asked if their child missed doing work from being ill at home on one day, could they go back and find those missing assignments?
Absolutely. So, and that's a great question. I didn't see that question either. We want to give students, and I want to preface this by saying, we want to give students every opportunity for success. And if that means that we have to extend deadlines for students because they need additional time to submit assignments, because they have had issues with technology, either connectivity issues or device issues, or because they have been ill. We certainly need to know that so that we can make sure those tools and assignments are available for students. And all you have to do is communicate that directly to your child's teacher or principal, and we will make sure if it is not up on Schoology that it does go there, but absolutely.
And then there's the question here about getting help with Schoology, so they can just go and get help with their Schoology. And there's also a question about Pearson. So some people are having some difficulty with Pearson, and they're asking, it says that it seems like the app is not allowing more than 16 people in at a time. So that seems to be, and another family member said that they had problems with Pearson as well.
Oh, really? Dr. Gorman or Joe, have you heard this from others?
I had not heard this, but we certainly are going to tackle this one. So we really love the feedback from parents. I'm sorry we're having the problem, but we love the feedback. So we're going to take this one to Pearson and we're going to figure out what's going on, and we'll get some resolution for this one.
So a parent just said this is more for older children. We are finding that students can navigate this a little more readily as they are in the upper grades. However, Schoology, the assignments that are available and the links that are available on Schoology are for all students. And if you have a specific need that we have not addressed, just let us know and we'll get you the help that you need. So if you can let us know what grade your child is in, and we can connect you with one of our PD facilitators or somebody on our IT team that is available, can be available to help you as well. And we will also make sure that if you go through the district website, you will see other presentations with that may be a little more geared toward the younger learners.
Okay. So I know that we ended with that video on immersive readers, and I just want, if you could just, Dr. Hamilton, talk just a little bit about how the teachers are using the results of iReady and how those results could help parents figure out how often or how much their child should be using immersive reader.
Oh, great, great. That's a good one. We are finding that iReady has become a very reliable tool for us to help us identify student strengths and weaknesses, particularly as it relates to how well our students are likely to do on standardized assessments. And this iReady is more a diagnostic tool for us than it is predictive, in that we want to find out where our students need the most help. So they're giving at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, and the end of the year. And each time that our students are take the iReady assessment, it gives our teachers and principals valuable feedback, and our principals meet with the administrative team to share how their children are doing. One of the things that the iReady data does is it helps us identify any instructional gaps we may have. So if we find that fourth grade students all across the district, for example, are having a particular issue, then that helps us to look at our curriculum. If we find that it's isolated to a particular building, we may have to look particularly at that building. But I encourage our parents to please make sure the students are completing the iReady assessments independently, so that we get a true barometer of where they are, so that we can get the necessary tools in place for them. We will be launching our after-school tutorial program. Our homework help program will continue once students are in place. And this iReady data will help us identify our candidates for that. But even if the iReady data does not give that indication from a parent perspective, you can reach out to us and let us know that as well.
Okay, great. And then also coupled with that library app that Rahila, I think it was, who shared that? Someone shared that.
So that's right. That's offered through ClassLink. That's part of the MVP. I think that Ms. Collins talked about that.
Yeah. So also with that app, with students reading independently, I'm sure that will help students increase their reading ability. And so there was a parent who said sometimes her child goes into that app and they're not finding all of the fiction books. There's some books that are very popular, and that they're not always finding the books that they want. The library is out.
Yes, that happens with public libraries too. If it's a really popular title, they only have a certain number. So usually I just sign up to get it later. Then
Joe, don't we also have a partnership with the Mount Vernon Public Library and have additional access to those to titles if we need? That's a really good problem. That means kids are reading books, which is really great.
It certainly is a great problem. The Mount Vernon Public Library has a tremendous amount of online books that students can download. So I do strongly encourage, if you don't find what you need in our library collection, by all means, check out the Mount Vernon Public Library. They have a very large collection, and they partner with all Westchester libraries. So they actually have a sharing between for digital books as well. So their collection is obviously much bigger. Very accessible.
Yeah, and then we want to also, I know Dr. Hamilton is a big prolific reader, as we can see by all the books behind him. But I noticed that I was trying to read the titles, but I can't read. My eyes are not that good. I'm nosy, but not that nosy. But we also want to encourage students, right, Dr. Hamilton, to reread books that they've read before. It helps with increasing fluency. It helps with increasing understanding and comprehension.
And I also encourage parents to find what your kids are interested in. If it's not a trade book or a chapter book, if it's a magazine that they have a particular interest in. If you have a child that's interested in fashion design or cars or sports, get them magazines that they can read, and you will find that children who are struggling readers are less intimidated with reading magazines because of the color, the pictures, and it grabs their interest. So I would encourage you, if you can't get your hands on a book that your child likes, I say go to Barnes & Noble, take them in the magazine section, and let them select magazines that may grab their interest, and that will get them interested in reading, particularly interest-based reading.
Exactly, and that's all important because those are the type of text characteristics that show up in social studies and older books, right? We don't think about maps and social studies and things that children have to look at the picture and actually understand the text around it. But those things that you're talking about, Dr. Hamilton, the magazines, the newspapers, all of those things that they may be interested in, it's just practice for later on as they get older. I see that May put a suggestion in here around graphic novels, and those are great. They really do a lot to capture, right, students' attention. And so we also just want to say we have 3 minutes left. So if you have any questions as we have this conversation around what you can do with the platforms that were presented today, please put them in the chat so that Dr. Hamilton can answer your questions. And so, Dr. Hamilton, one more thing. There, I saw on the platforms that there are a lot of different apps for students to access in different ways. And I know that later on there will be from the tech team different videos placed online so that parents can access them and learn how to use them. Any of your favorite apps up there? What do you go to?
You know what? It actually wasn't on there. I am a big user of iUniversity. I just find that there is so much information in iUniversity, particularly in science. I like to ask questions that I don't know the answer to in Google and then go to iUniversity, look them up. So that's a tool that I particularly like. So jump on that. I'm telling you, it is so full of information. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Gorman, you were waving your hand. You have a favorite one?
Yes, I'm very partial to the incredible videos that Discovery Education
I
has
knew you were
partnered
going to
with us.
say that.
It had to be said. It had to be said. They're unbelievably riveting and engaging at a really, really high level. You could search anything by subject, content, standard, and I really encourage kids and family members, adults keeping up with their kids. It's an iPhone world, folks. Everybody's watching this stuff on short videos, and that's the way we're trying to shift our instructional prototype to meet the needs of children.
So, Dr. Gorman, since you like Discovery so much, you're going to be thrilled to know, and we haven't announced this to anybody yet, but we're actually, Discovery Education is now accessed through Schoology. We're building a second access point on Monday. It'll be available through the MVP portal as well. So students won't even need to go through Schoology. They'll be able to click, which is really helpful for those that are using a mobile device. So you'll be able to get Discovery Education multiple ways.
And we've also used, I know where time is up, but we've also showcasing this year tech books, not text, but TECH books. They are interactive tech books. And Dr. Hamilton, that's just a follow-up and a continuation of the work we did in 2011. But they are incredible, and they're from Discovery as well. And that is for all science classes throughout the district. So it's really about building some stamina and momentum and getting a rhythm with all these digital tools. You can't just, you know, it's overwhelming at first glance, but one at a time and finding that rhythm in this digital world, there's a lot out there for our kids.
Well, I want to thank you all for your time this evening, for all of our parents for hanging out with us. Again, I hope you find it meaningful. And if not, let us know how we can improve what we do so that we can service you and, most importantly, our most precious commodity, our children. So let us know that. Dr. Monica George Fields, thank you as usual for your extraordinary facilitation. Dr. BC, Joe, Jeff, thank you, thank you, thank you. An incredible evening. I found it very informative. Again, sometimes I get so caught up in the mix of things. I don't always get to navigate the tools like you guys did tonight. So I think our kids are in very, very good hands with the technology that we have in place, the tools at their resources. Kids have everything they need right now to succeed. So parents, we need you to do your part and help our kids take advantage of these extraordinary resources. So good night, everybody. Thank you. Be well, be safe, and know that I am praying for you all.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Good.